What is your price? How much money would it take for you to sacrifice your sleep, your privacy, and your peace of mind? For most people, the American dream is simple. Build something successful, make millions, and retire on a beach. We celebrate the hustle. We idolize the billionaires. But in early 2014, one man did the exact opposite. He had the world at his fingertips. He had created the most popular mobile game on the planet. He was earning, from advertisement revenue alone, $50,000 every single day. That's $1.5 million a month. And then he did the unthinkable. He didn't sell the company. He didn't hire a CEO to run it for him. He pulled the plug. He pressed delete. Today, we're diving deep into the story of Flappy Bird. We're going to look beyond the high scores and the smashed screens to uncover the dark reality of viral fame. Why did Nguyen kill his golden goose? Was it a legal threat from Nintendo? Was it a marketing stunt? Or was it something much more personal? This is the story of the 28-day storm that changed mobile gaming forever. To understand the death of Flappy Bird, we first have to understand its birth. And contrary to what you might think, this wasn't a product of a Silicon Valley boardroom. There was no venture capital, no marketing team, and no 5-year plan. There was just Nguyen. Dong was a quiet, introverted developer living in Hanoi, Vietnam. He grew up playing Super Mario Bros., fascinated by the simplicity of Nintendo games. By 2013, he felt modern mobile games were becoming too complicated. They demanded too much time and too much commitment. He wanted to make a game for commuters, a game you could play with one hand while holding a strap on a subway train, a game that took seconds to load and seconds to die. He coded it over a holiday weekend in April 2013. The protagonist, that famous pixelated bird, was actually a leftover design from a platformer he had canceled years earlier. He gave it a massive eye to make it look funny, added green pipes that looked suspiciously like Mario's, and named it Flap Flap. It wasn't revolutionary, it was barely even finished. When he uploaded it to the iOS App Store on May 24, 2013, he didn't expect it to make $100, let alone millions. And for months, he was right. For the first 6 months, Flappy Bird was a ghost town. It sat at the bottom of the App Store charts, buried under thousands of Candy Crush clones. But the game had a secret weapon. It was brutally, unfairly, and hilariously difficult. In modern game design, developers hold your hand. They want you to win, so you feel good and buy upgrades. Nguyen did the opposite. He made a game that hated you. You would score 0 points on your first try, maybe 1 point on your second. It was infuriating, and that anger made it shareable. In early January 2014, the algorithm shifted. It started with a few tweets. People were challenging their friends, basically saying, "Look how impossible this stupid game is." Then the ultimate catalyst happened. PewDiePie, the biggest YouTuber in the world, played it. He screamed, he raged, he laughed. Suddenly, millions of people wanted to see what the fuss was about. By mid-January, Flappy Bird hit #1 on the US App Store. It wasn't just a game anymore, it was a cultural phenomenon, being downloaded 2 to 3 million times a day. This is where the numbers become staggering. Flappy Bird was free. It had no microtransactions. You couldn't pay to win. Dong made money only from the tiny banner ad at the top of the screen. Because the game was so hard, players died constantly. Every death meant a restart, and every restart showed an ad. The volume of impressions was insane. In an interview with The Verge, Dong confirmed he was making $50,000 a day. But while his bank account was growing, the atmosphere around the game was turning toxic. This wasn't fun anymore. It was obsession. Videos flooded the internet of people smashing their iPhones with hammers after hitting a pipe at score 99. Schools in the US banned the game because students were playing it under their desks instead of learning. Nguyen, the quiet introvert from Vietnam, was suddenly the most talked about developer in tech. But the narrative wasn't praise. The internet, as it often does, turned on him. Imagine waking up to thousands of emails and tweets that aren't congratulations, but accusations and threats. People accused Dong of using bots to fake his rankings because they couldn't believe a simple game could be this popular. Others accused him of stealing assets from Nintendo. Nintendo later confirmed they never sued him, but at the time, the rumors were terrifying for a solo developer. The worst messages came from players themselves. Dong told Rolling Stone he received emails from parents saying he had ruined their children's lives. One worker wrote that he lost his job because he couldn't stop playing Flappy Bird. Dong couldn't sleep, he couldn't eat. Paparazzi camped outside his parents' house in Vietnam. He moved to a hotel just to feel safe. He realized his creation, meant to be a harmless distraction for a few minutes, had become something problematic. He said Flappy Bird was designed to be played for a few minutes when you are relaxed, but it became addictive. He believed it had become a problem, and to solve that problem, the best option was to take it down. He felt genuine guilt, heavy guilt, like he was selling a digital drug. On February 8, 2014, at 2:02 p.m., Dong Nguyen sent the tweet that froze the gaming world. He wrote, "I'm sorry, Flappy Bird users. 22 hours from now, I will take Flappy Bird down. I cannot take this anymore." The internet laughed. People thought it was a marketing stunt, a genius move to create hype. But the countdown continued. 22 hours passed, and then it was gone. If you searched the App Store, Flappy Bird had vanished. The $50,000 a day revenue stream was cut instantly. What followed was hysteria. iPhones with Flappy Bird installed appeared on eBay. People bid $10,000, $50,000, even $90,000 for a used phone just to play the game. It was mass panic over a pixelated bird. Dong Nguyen eventually returned to a quiet life. He made other games, but he never chased that level of fame again. In a world obsessed with maximizing profit, squeezing every dollar and chasing clout, Dong Nguyen stands as a rare anomaly. He looked at $50,000 a day, looked at his mental health, and chose himself. He proved that sometimes the ultimate power move isn't building an empire, it's knowing when to walk away.